Brees, but accuracy does matter. And it's paramount at the quarterback position. And let's face reality, even though the man threw 33 touchdowns, he still gave new meaning for 30 for 30 when he threw 30 interceptions as well. And as a quarterback was a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year because of how much he gave away to opposing defenses. The bottom line is that he's got to make amends for that. And until he does, I don't think anybody can sit up there. Well, listen, I'm just calling what you listen. Listen, I'm here doing my job. They asked me the question, I answered it, okay? I didn't wake up this morning trying to start trouble for Jameis Winston. I'm just calling it like I see it. The bottom line is that there's no way you can convince me that the offense is going to be more explosive, because the reason why it's explosive to begin with is the accuracy of Drew Brees to guys like Michael Thomas primarily, and of course to a lesser degree the Emmanuel Sanders and Smiths and all of those guys. So that's how I'm looking at it. I don't see him being the passer that Drew Brees is and having the chemistry with those receivers that Drew Brees does. And as a result of that, I cannot say that it's going to be more explosive.
Well, you're wrong, but let me tell you why. Drew Brees will keep the chains moving. He's the most accurate quarterback of all time. That's not Jameis Winston. But if we're talking about
Max.
Yeah, right. If we're talking about explosive, right, that's the cannon. Look, Jameis Winston not only threw 33 touchdowns last year, but led the league in passing yards, had over 5,000 yards, led the league, obviously, in passing yards per game, right? If you look at Drew Brees' average yards per attempt this year, and I've been making the argument, look, no Michael Thomas, no Emmanuel Sanders, maybe it's not that bad, but it's in decline at the very least. Jameis Winston's coming out of a system, no risk it, no biscuit. This dude, as you said, new meaning to 30-30. Stephen A., when we were kids, 30-30 meant Bobby Bonds, Barry's daddy. Remember that? Bobby Bonds used to go 30 home runs, 30 steals. But Jameis is 33 touchdowns, 30 INTs, 112 points the other way. He's going to be explosive both ends of the ball. Ryan Clark, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was you who said he's the one dude in NFL history get offensive and defensive player of the game every game, right? He could be a candidate.
Hey,
so Drew Brees is better
with a unique chance to win.
Yeah, but more explosive is Jameis Winston.
Listen, I'm with Max, man, and Stephen A., I think you're looking at this thing the wrong way. You know what I mean? You woke up this morning and you did want to start trouble for Jameis Winston, and you wanted to start so much trouble for him that you couldn't focus on what the question was. The question wasn't, were they going to be better? This offense isn't explosive. This offense has one truly explosive skill player who is Alvin Kamara, and you could get the ball to him in different spots, and those turn into big plays. But when you look at what this offense has been the last 2 or 3 years, it has been dink and dunk, and it's been so much Drew Brees understands what's going on. Like when you watch the stripe of Drew Brees' helmet, anytime they run a pass route, it's bam, 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 right to my third option because he understands it. But now you got Jared Cook who can stretch the field, Michael Thomas, who is a great 50-50 ball catcher, Emmanuel Sanders, who's one of the best route runners in the league, and now you can start pushing the ball down the field with those guys. If you think to yourself, though, that could cause trouble. We don't want Jameis Winston dropping back too many times and making the wrong decision or throwing the ball into places that he shouldn't. That's part of it. So you got to have enough of old Jameis, right? Enough of no risky, no bisky, and then also help him understand that you don't have to take every shot. You take that shot when you have the opportunity, when it's one-on-one in a favorable matchup. And if all that fails, you have Alvin Kamara to dump the ball down to. That wasn't the coaching you got with Bruce Arians. This is going to be different with Sean Payton. I think Jameis Winston understands he's auditioning to be the New Orleans Saints quarterback of the future, and I do expect more explosion out of this offense.
Well, listen, you could say that, but in all due respect, I know how to answer questions. I'm not like some people I know that dance around stuff like Fred Astaire or Michael Jackson. I answer questions. The question was about explosiveness, and I firmly believe that I answered the question. I don't think it's going to be more explosive.
Do you believe this team is explosive?
I'm watching this, and I did. Yeah, well, listen, I don't. I'm not saying that they don't have weapons, that they can't do some things, but what I'm saying is I'm comparing Brees to Jameis Winston. The absence of Brees, the advent of Jameis Winston, what is this offense going to look like? Is it going to look more of what we've seen from it with Drew Brees or less? And I'm saying less.
Average yards per pass go up or down, Stephen A.
I don't know how you can argue with that.
That's not the question. It's not the question.
More explosive, Ryan. I mean, you parsing words. I know English. You parsing words. More or less explosive. No, they're not going to be more explosive.
Average yards per attempt.
They're going to be less explosive. Is that
average yards per attempt?
Up
or down? Stephen A. Average yards per attempt going to go up or down? What? Average yards per attempt. Is it going to go up or down? Yeah, per attempt, per pass. Is that going to go up or down?
I don't know, Max. I can honestly say I don't know.
Per attempt.
You can say it's going up. I say so the incompletions. How about this? How about this, y'all? I answer that. I answer it. Yes, Max. The yards per completion is going to go up. But but in terms of the accuracy, the percentage, how much you want to make a bet it dips by about 10
No doubt, but that's explosive too.
Nobody
you got the game plan. Jameis might blow it up. The guy's going the other way for a pick six. That's explosive too. It blow the whole thing up.
I don't see it. I don't see it, man.
Steve, this is what you're doing, man. This is what you're doing. No, listen. I'm sorry, Charlie, but this is what happened when you sign a big contract and it's your show. You start changing the question midstream so you can be correct. Because the question was, were they going to be more explosive?
Can have a lot of meanings. It could be good or it could be bad.
And I said no.
Stephen A., you were explosive.
I said no.
You changed everything mid-question. He blew it all up.
I answered the question.
Well, listen, Stephen A., let me ask you, can the Saints reach the playoffs?
This is a new one, Charlie. Charlie, this is new. I'm being accused of being Max. I'm being accused of being Max Kellerman. That's what I'm being accused of.
He's taking yet another turn. What do you know? Stephen A., do you think that the Saints can reach the playoffs without Drew Brees?
I think they can reach the playoffs, but they'll go home. They'll go home early.
Yeah, they can reach the playoffs
without
Drew Brees.
Yeah,
without Drew Brees, they're winning.
Nice and easy.
Yes, it does.
Brian?
Without Drew Brees, they don't win a Super Bowl, but they can make the playoffs without Drew Brees and go on a run with him. If he can get back in 5 or 6 weeks, they go on a run with him.
Sure.
I think this is the perfect scenario for the New Orleans Saints. I think giving Drew Brees a little bit of a break, giving his body. Drew Brees is the type of guy that he can't get going until Saturday or Sunday to really throw the football, to really move, because he has to put so much into it. Giving Drew Brees this break when you have the Atlanta Falcons twice, when you have the Denver Broncos, when you have the Philadelphia Eagles, and winning those games, getting him back healthy for that stretch run, that can help the Saints win the Super Bowl. I don't believe Jameis Winston gets them to the Super Bowl. I believe he can still win the NFC South. And if he does that, that sets the Saints up in perfect position to get to the Super Bowl they've been trying to get to the last 3 years.
Okay.
Hold it. Charlie.
What?
Did that answer the question? I mean, can Saints reach the playoffs without Drew Brees? And I just heard this brother go up the block, around the corner, cross state lines, came back to Louisiana. I mean,
Ryan was talking about winning a Super Bowl. We all agree.
You talk about